This week in the West Philippine Sea, we did not experience any clashes or attempts to arrest Filipino citizens in the international waters claimed by China. This week, however, was extremely tense, with the fallout of China's aggression against the Philippines in the second Thomas Shoal on June 17, 2024, dominating the headlines in the region. In an attempt to de-escalate the situation, the Philippines is taking a diplomatic approach against an intransigent China. Philippine Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo appeared before a Philippine Senate hearing over the June 17th incident, where he told senators and later reporters that the Philippines wants to settle the dispute with China peacefully. Philippines President Marcos Jr. stated that the incident at the second Thomas Shoal was not a reason to start a war with China, nor does the Philippines want to instigate a war with China, and Secretary Manalo appeared before the committee to reinforce this position. Part of the Philippine strategy to confront China is to take the position that seeks a peaceful resolution of the issue, but it is also to highlight and document China's aggressive and illegal activities. Secretary Manalo stated that the Philippines were seeking to have bilateral talks with China over this issue at the second Thomas Shoal and the wider issue of claims in the West Philippine Sea. He reiterated that no country could claim the entirety of the South China Sea as its territory, but that it sent a verbal note to China to request a restart of the consultation mechanism on the maritime dispute. China not only upholds its unwavering stance regarding its claims in the South China Sea, but it also insists that bilateral discussions on the matter should take place, giving China the upper hand over any smaller nation. This request from the Philippines appears to be a significant diplomatic victory for China over the Philippines. What appears to be a diplomatic win for China may not be. China has insisted that despite all the documentation of its actions on June 17th, it was acting entirely lawfully, including the destroying and seizing equipment of its axe and knife-wielding Coast Guard boarding parties. China also sent its largest Coast Guard vessel to sail near disputed shoals in the West Philippine Sea, including at the second Thomas Shoal, and sent 4 People's Liberation Army Navy warships within 12 miles or 19 kilometers of Palawan Island in an international waterway, but the message was clear as the Chinese Navy attempted to display a show of force in the West Philippine Sea. The Chinese actions and show of force since the 17th and today appear to show that China's forceful actions and show of force appear to be changing the Philippine position as it seeks to restart bilateral talks. This may not be the case, as U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Mary Kay Carlson urged China to stop harassing Philippine vessels that are operating lawfully in their internationally recognized exclusive economic zone, and China needs to stop disrupting countries like the Philippines from exercising their sovereign rights. The United States also stated that it will be conducting a joint naval exercise with the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea that may also include Japan and Australia. The U.S. stated that it has a defense treaty with the Philippines, and that the Philippines is acting responsibly to seek a dialogue with China over the issue. The public position of the Chinese government, despite overwhelming video evidence to the contrary, stated that it acted lawfully and continues to use a show of force to press its illegal claims. On the other hand, the Philippines, while still demanding China pay for the damages from the June 17th incident, has adopted a high road approach to seek peace in the format China desires, thereby presenting itself as the more reasonable party in the dispute to an international audience. This strategy leverages the power of media and messaging to portray China as the aggressor, while portraying the Philippines as the victim of aggression. The Philippines may be seeking bilateral talks with China, which appears to be a concession, but the US and its international supporters have clearly backed the Philippines. The international community has called for a rules-based order that supports Philippine claims, and the Philippines will enter any bilateral talks with the clear backing of the US-Philippine Defense Treaty. This treaty provides the Philippines government with a firm backstop to prevent China from using threats against the Philippines in negotiations, knowing that any threat would be a violation of the Defense Treaty. Also, in a strange twist, Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Vietnam last week. Vietnam and China have been embroiled in public territorial disputes over the South China Sea, and the Gulf of Tonkin has recently signed agreements with Russia for gas and oil exploration, which are likely to extend to the South China Sea. This move by a key Chinese ally could make it difficult for China to navigate and weaken its position in negotiations over its illegal claims. Despite the Philippines' surface-level agreement with Chinese demands for bilateral talks following a recent Chinese show of force, it appears that the Philippines is adhering to its roadmap to assert its sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea. By seeking diplomatic talks with China, it demonstrates that it is seeking peace and not escalation. The Philippines is requesting talks while showing evidence of China's illegal actions, which makes China look like the most aggressive and unreasonable actor in the world. This is an embarrassment for the Chinese Communist Party. The Philippines is leveraging its defense ties in the region, including a new round of exercises and an unambiguous statement of U.S. support by the U.S. ambassador to the Philippines to ensure a secure position in bilateral talks. This is to prevent China from threatening force against it, which could potentially trigger its defense alliances. China's position does not seem to be as strong as it appears, as long as the Marcos government maintains the political support and resolve of its people.